which camera do you think is the Nikon Z6 III and which camera do you think is the Sony A7 IV? Let me know. Just look at the scene. What do you think? One is being shot on the Nikon 51.8S. The other one is being shot on the Sigma 1.4 at 1.8 for the E mount. So I have something for you here. Color checker passport here. So you can see the color in this. You can try and figure out which one is which. I also have, I can show different things. I can show you this, for example, right? Look at the look of this. The green is important. These are important colors. I'm going to show you this one more time. Okay. Also see how well these two cameras are transitioning from the focus here back to my face. By the way, I cannot see what's happening on these cameras. I haven't done this before. I haven't checked the results in this setting, in this kind of lighting. I'll have to figure out. Let me tell you what I expect to happen. I expect the Sony to make me look like I'm made of biscuit, like, which I'm not, but it gives me that biscuit color for some reason, or like a burnt sort of color. The Nikon typically is nicer, feels like more real, and I've seen that happen with like anyone who is not very fair-skinned or white. I've seen Sony struggle a bit. Sony adds its own brown tone or greenish tone to the skin, and it becomes a bit weird. At this point, I'll let you see, I'll reveal which camera is which. So on my right is the Sony A7 IV shooting with the Sigma 1.2 at 1.8, and I'm shooting that with on 4K, 4:2 10-bit, and this is the Nikon Z6 III shooting at 6K, 4:0 10-bit. Now, same settings. I'm shooting the Nikon on 51.8S. Fantastic lens. Both of these lenses are amazing lenses. Unfortunately, I have a 1.4 mist filter attached on the Sigma on the Sony, and I have a 1.8 mist filter attached on the Nikon Z6 III. Let me show you this one more time. Tell me what you see now. Do you see any different? Do you recognize the Sony color? Do you recognize the Sony thing happening on my face, on my, look at the look of this place. What about this? What's the difference? I'm trying to hide my face. Let me know what you think of this ball. Also, the autofocus, that's very important. What's happening with the autofocus? Let me know. I expect the autofocus to be very similar. And at the same time, I also expect that in post, the Sony is going to struggle a bit. Now, at this point, what you're going to see happen is that we're going to sort of, edit the two files differently. We've always edited N-Log in a certain way, and we've been happy overall with the kind of output we have been getting with the N-Log. H.265 422 10-bit. Now, if we change nothing of the grade or the color correction on DaVinci, if we just change, just the file, because this is going to be S-Log3, this is going to be N-Log. If we just take care of it in the CST, you see this is the output. You can see side by side, this is the output. But what if we lean into what the Sony is asking us to do? If we kind of lean into that sort of edit, sort of refresh the edit a bit for Sony and sort of try and reach where the file is asking us to go, the kind of color, the kind of look, where does it go? Now, starting now, you're going to see that, if we sort of grade or color correct or edit these two files, the S-Log3 from the A7 IV and the N-Log from Z6 III, if you just edit them separately and try to go there, follow their direction, hold their hand and go wherever they want to take us. This is how the files are going to look now. They're going to change slightly. I'm going to look different on the Sony file because the Sony file asked us to take the files here, create this kind of look. This file is more comfortable with this kind of look, and the Nikon N-Log is more comfortable with this kind of look. So you can see the difference. I have often found that I find the S-Log3 from any Sony camera I find it a bit more difficult to get to the point where I want to reach with the color grade. And I've always been happy with the kind of colors I get from N-Log. I have always been happy with the kind of colors I get from Lumix's V-Log, by the way, as well. I've also really liked the kind of output I've got with Canon's R5 II. Didn't like it on the R5, didn't like it on the R6 II. So that's where the difference is. I really prefer the Nikon look, but if you prefer the Sony look, let me know why. The white balance is the exact same, by the way, no difference. Yeah, there may be a slight change of angle because they're on two different tripods, but that is a very minor difference. So let me know how the backlight, that slightly yellowish light, is being reproduced in the scene. Let me know whether my skin tone is different. And of course, I showed you the color chart, and also I showed you this ball, right? This tennis ball. Yeah. So my preference is how the N-Log edits and takes me to a place very quickly. Takes me to a place where I want to reach with the color grade very quickly. I know at times S-Log3 gives me a little bit more flexibility on especially the files from the S1 are really, really good. So they give me a little more flexibility to handle the dynamic range, but the colors are, I've never fallen in love with them, which is why I use the S7 IV more for photos than for videos. I have always really liked the kind of files I get from the S7 IV photo raw files, and I kind of feel also that it is easier to edit the ARW files from Sony and match the files to the Z8 look or the ZF look or the even the Z6 II look. So let me know what you think. Have you tried Nikon and Sony together ever? And what has been your experience? What do you use Nikon for? What do you use Sony for? Subscribe to this channel. Help me reach 10,000 subscribers soon. Like this video. Let me know what else you want to see more of. I think we're going to have very interesting conversations soon, especially when Lumix joins in. I think when Lumix joins the chat, right? That's how the phrase goes. Yeah, so subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you soon with another video. And next one, do you want to see some comparison with Fuji? Because Fuji's F-Log2A can be interesting comparison as well. So maybe I'll do that. Let me know if you want to see that. See you.